Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. It hasn't even started slapping yet. This coming from Bobby A here on Twitter. Many will even sell their Bitcoin to chase the XRP pump. Mark my words. So Bobby was talking about this initial tweet that he posted back on June the 7th, basically stating that the post-Bitcoin pump is really when the action takes place for XRP. Now we're getting very, very close down in and around here. You can see he's plotted these indicators on the XRP chart from back in 2020 and back in 2016. And these lines denote the Bitcoin halvings from those points in time. And so after the Bitcoin halving, generally what we've seen in the past, RSI crossover, then we see XRP start moving to the upside, getting very, very oversold. So we still have some time to get into that area. We are not there yet. Of course, eyeing the king cryptocurrency is first and foremost the number one thing, I guess that should be on our minds. And as you guys can see, we are forming what is looking like a head and shoulders pattern right in and around here. So are we going to move down before we move up again? This is likely in the cards. I mean, considering, the summer is generally that time where we see a lot of accumulation for cryptocurrencies, generally fairly quiet. We've been getting our hopes up. We've been seeing Bitcoin moving up and down and up and down. And, at this point, we were thinking to ourselves, okay, maybe this is it. But unfortunately, as you guys can see over the last 4 days, we've seen Bitcoin take a bit of a turn. Sentiment is also going up and down and up and down. Today, we are in neutral. So neutral territory, not bad. It is not fear. It is not greed. But, people are feeling kind of indecisive, I guess, at the moment. 24-hour price change for cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down a little bit today, 3.52%. We've got Ethereum down 8.55%. BNB coin is down 4.05%. Actually, Solana's down too, 5.5%. XRP not faring too poorly, as you guys can see here. XRP is still up over the last 7 days, up 4.96%. So still almost up 5% over the last 7 days. Whereas, as you guys can see, many of these other cryptocurrencies are firmly in the red. So within the last 24 hours, XRP is also down 3.66%. But you can also see XRP is starting to do its own thing. If I bring up XRP here on the chart, you guys can see, although we have seen a negative day for XRP, it is still maintaining this price pump, still forming a positive trend to the upside, forming higher lows, even though we're dipping down. We're going up, and then we're dipping down. Higher lows, guys. So this is all positive, a bit of an anomaly here for XRP when it comes to the rest of the crypto space, but that's good. That's generally what we see right before we start to see XRP pump. It happened in 2020. It most certainly happened in 2017 for those of you guys who have not been here. So market cap is sitting firmly at 2.31 trillion. That's down by a little bit. 24-hour volume, that's up by a little bit, albeit not by much, by just about 7%, up to $84.65 billion. Bitcoin dominance, guys, is creeping. So close to 55%. The Bitcoin dominance is really what is going to change the game for Bitcoin and for altcoins. Of course, we do need to see that dominance go down before we can expect an altcoin rally. And so I've got the Bitcoin dominance chart here, and I'm going to just get rid of some of that stuff here. Bitcoin dominance still slowly creeping up. So I've got Bitcoin dominance here on the weekly. You guys can see it is getting up higher and higher. It might continue for the next little while, maybe into 2025 before we finally see that push for Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, so what it generally happens is it grinds, and then boom, altcoin season. Bitcoin dominance goes right down. Altcoins pick up the slack, and this is where we make the most of our money, guys. So we still have to wait. It's okay, though. We are in a pretty good spot right now, especially if you are an XRP hodler. Still up over the last 7 days in the top 10 coins. The only other coin that is up 5.75% in the last 7 days is Solana. So very, very good news there. I also tend to agree here with the bearable bull. There is a 0% chance that XRP will not go to a new all-time high this cycle. I certainly think that it will. There are some naysayers. There are some pessimistic, negative Nancys in the space. But I guess, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to name names, but certainly there are some people that don't think XRP is going to be able to get out of that triangular pattern. And what they think is that this will just continue to go lower and lower and lower, and that we won't actually see new highs, and that we will just do this kind of a thing, a lower high, another lower high, another lower high into 2026, into 2027, and never get above new all-time highs. I don't believe it, though. XRP has been dependent on Bitcoin to rise before. It can rise in price In this cycle so far, though, guys, you got to think of where we've been and where we are today. Okay, so we've seen a Bitcoin ETF approval and a new all-time high values. Okay, next we're going to see the Ethereum ETF get approved, and likely a new all-time high for Ethereum will be coming as well. A Solana and XRP ETF are likely next in line for 2025. We have the stock market at levels that support a bullish context, so that is also something that we should be paying attention to. The Russell 2000, I've got it here on the weekly, and I'm recording this video before the market is open, so you can see pre-trading is at 218. It closed yesterday at 217.85. So Russell is still looking very, very robust. He says, I suspect a $100,000 plus Bitcoin price this cycle, and I think that is a no-brainer. XRP has bullish catalysts on its own that should propel it to new all-time highs as well. And so here's what he's saying about XRP. Relisting on all exchanges, that is a big one. AMMs have gone live. The Zao sidechain is also available for participants. The Ripple stablecoin, guys, that's also coming out. Medico custody solution, a Ripple IPO down the road, guys, that is going to create FOMO like nobody's business. Crypto becoming a political talking point, and regulations are happening or likely, he's saying. The inevitable conclusion of the case this summer, which is really going to bring XRP prices even higher. Think of the initial securities verdict, but then add the FOMO of the entire market. And finally, XRP is repeating the March 2017 pattern that caused it to rise 58,000% in value. The longer the base, the higher in space. If you guys didn't catch the video I did on that yesterday, I will link it up here in the top right-hand corner. To project where XRP could go, in fact, based on the fact that the base is actually longer than it was in previous cycles. We've also got the Bollinger Band squeeze, guys. The long squeeze here from Mikey Bull Crypto. Explosive move is looming, folks. And so those Bollinger Bands are not getting any wider. This is another great indication that XRP is going to move to the upside. This means that while the lower we're trading on the Bollinger Bands, that means that we are oversold and that there will be likely a lot of buying coming up next. So you guys can see when XRP is trading high on the upper band, that means that it's overbought. Then it comes right back down, crashing towards the lower end of the Bollinger Bands. Oversold, lather, rinse, repeat. So hopefully, that widening of the Bollinger Bands, we will be seeing that very soon. Wanted to thank Mikey Crypto here, of course, the Bearable Bull, and Bobby A just for those tweets. Michael Branch also bringing this to our attention, guys. Ali Martinez has noticed something too. XRP whales look to have regained their confidence in the XRP token, with recent data showing an accumulation trend among these investors. This is significant as XRP eyes the $1 mark. So I guess first we got to get to $1. But guys, whales have bought over 140 million XRP, worth about $84 million in the past week alone. This development highlights these investors' confidence in XRP's future trajectory, with a growing belief that the crypto token could finally enjoy a long overdue rally, having consolidated over the past 6 years. And you guys can see down here, there's a chart just demonstrating. It's a little blurry, but you can see, generally speaking, the trend moving up here. Whales are accumulating. They are realizing that, this has been trading low on the Bollinger Bands, and that, this is a good opportunity to maybe get into XRP at this particular time. This increase in whale accumulation is also a factor that could contribute to such a rally, as these investors could use their market influence to push XRP's price to new highs. Sentiment recently noted that XRP's impressive rebound is supported by the rising level of coins held by XRP whales and sharks, with over 100,000 tokens. So again, you can find out where you stack up at the rich list. That's another tool that I love going to every now and then. You can see how those statistics are changing in virtually real time. So wanted to thank Michael Branch for bringing that to our attention. On top of which, another great tweet here from Michael. Wyoming Senator Cynthia Loomis is working on legislation to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve in the United States. So moving towards the political, one of those factors that we are getting, a little more traction on in the United States specifically. As the Bearable Bull does say down here, crypto is becoming a political talking point. This is very important for more widespread crypto adoption, especially by those institutional investors. A source familiar with this matter said that although the specifics of the legislation are unclear, the purpose of the bill is to direct the Federal Reserve to buy Bitcoin and hold it as a reserve asset similar to how the central banks hold gold and foreign currencies. So this is what some of these crypto proponents like Senator Cynthia Lummis is proposing, with Donald Trump gearing up to make an appearance at the Bitcoin conference in Nashville later this week. Pro-Bitcoin Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis is drafting new legislation to bring Bitcoin into the mainstream financial system as a reserve asset for the United States. 3 crypto executives familiar with the matter said that Lummis is working on a draft to announce at the annual Bitcoin conference. Reportedly, the bill proposes that the Federal Reserve hold some Bitcoin as a strategic reserve asset. So could you imagine if the United States, and I mean, I guess maybe it was inevitable. I don't know if, you guys were already thinking that this was going to be the way that it was going to go. I don't know how long you guys have been in crypto. But this thing is changing before our eyes. And I remember in 2017, the landscape looked so much different than it does today. It was way more Wild West back then. Now it is becoming legitimized. So this is all positive news for big money inflows coming into crypto. Sources who have been in touch with Lummis told Fox Business that the senator would be announcing her intentions at the Bitcoin conference on Saturday, just before Trump's scheduled address. However, the sources believe that Senator Lummis could also choose to announce the news during a fireside chat on Friday afternoon. So we don't know when it's going to be announced. However, these are the murmurings. Again, wanted to thank Michael for bringing that to our attention. And Brad Garlinghouse is actually coming out saying this: jumping to conclusions and assumptions about candidates purely based on political affiliation without any political proposals is holding the crypto industry back, similar to how tribalism has for years. So I think he's saying this with regards to Democrats versus Republicans. I mean, on its face, we've been being held back because of the Democratic policies and the Elizabeth Warrens of the world and the backdoor dealings and the shadiness that has been going on at the SEC for the last several years. But what Brad is saying, give Democrats a chance. VP Harris is no stranger to Silicon Valley, he says, and has an incredible opportunity to provide a reset on critical issues for U.S. competitiveness, like crypto regulation. He says, I'll keep an open mind for now, but also agree that if she uses the same Elizabeth Warren-like rhetoric, then she has miscalculated the political liability that is Gary Gensler. So Brad was initially responding to Justin Slaughter's tweet here. Harris has been the nominee for about 12 hours, and she's already making clear core Biden national security advisors won't be kept around for another term. No one in the Biden administration should be assumed to keep their jobs. And in Harris administration, odds of a significant reset are growing. So could she be, a reset for the Democrats? XRP Crypto Wolf posting, Harris is just pandering to the crypto industry, unlike Trump, who actually has skin in the game, not to mention his son Barron is big on crypto. Don't fall for their lies. So, let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. This is getting really, really interesting. Admirable, says Craig DeWitt, but I don't know, Brad Garlinghouse. Crypto looking at Harris right now being like, so you're still telling me there's a chance? I mean, a lot of people are feeling jaded and misdirected, initially when it came to Democratic policies, I guess, on the matter. Chip saying, this is a bad take. It's not the person, it's the policies. XRP Nation PP saying, dude, Brad Garlinghouse, you literally deleted all your pro-Biden / against Trump tweets in 2018 and beyond. There's only like 7 of them that remain. Hypocrite much? So XRP Nation calling out Brad Garlinghouse. With all my respect, says Megan, but I disagree regarding VP Harris. She is not the right Democratic Party candidate for many reasons. So, of course, people are going to have their opinions on this. Anders here also mentioning it would be amazing if both candidates were pro-crypto. Apparently, guys, Mark Cuban says that Kamala Harris's camp reached out with multiple questions about crypto. I'm getting multiple questions from her camp about crypto, he said Tuesday, so that at least is a good sign. The feedback I'm getting, but certainly not confirmed by the VP, is that she will be far more open to business, like artificial intelligence, crypto, and government as a service, Cuban said. So it looks like all eyes are now on the new potential candidate for the Democrats. We don't know yet. I guess time will tell. What we do know is that cryptocurrency is becoming institutionalized, and this is what the big money wants to see, guys. Here's a clip of Robert Mitchnick, formerly an intern at Ripple, now working at BlackRock. He is the head of digital assets there, and here's what he had to say.
A really beneficial thing for investors and for markets, what's happened with these ETFs, they've brought access to these assets, which many investors clearly have wanted and have been excited to get the opportunity to hold through an ETF, and brought that into a regulated environment into these wrappers. There's a ton of demand from our clients, clearly, to be able to access the leading crypto assets within the exchange-traded wrapper. And so it's been a great year from that standpoint.
So being able to access cryptocurrencies through these wrappers, so ETFs, they are, something that institutions can, I guess, get behind because they are going to be guaranteed by big companies like BlackRock, but they're not actually holding the real cryptocurrency. And I think that, there is something to be said about actually holding the cryptos. Nevertheless, if this gets money in, I am not going to complain about that. Not Chad Steingraber, he said this. Look what Hashdex did add, okay? So apparently Hashdex did just recently come out with this yesterday, July the 24th, if you guys are watching this on the day that I'm recording it. Hashdex NASDAQ Crypto Index US ETFs. Now, the other day I did talk about this, and I talked about how they were in fact going to be including XRP in the index. So you can only imagine if that occurs, how much more money will be added to XRP through these investments from big money. But it is going to take time. I think, nearing the end of 2024 and into 2025, this is when we're going to see all this happen. Nevertheless, wanted to thank Chad Steingraber and, of course, XRP Drops for posting that. And then we've got the real world partnerships, guys. This is a big one. SBI Holdings partner Franklin Templeton to foray into Bitcoin ETF market. So some more institutions, guys, moving into the Bitcoin market. In this case, we are seeing SBI Holdings, which is coincidentally one of the largest Ripple investors. They said on Thursday that they will establish an investment management company with U.S. investment management firm Franklin Templeton in preparation to enter the Bitcoin ETF market. So they are even eyeing the big money Bitcoin ETFs. This is a major development for Ripple partner SBI Holdings. So they're partnering with Franklin Templeton to establish an investment management company, according to a report by the Nikkei. This marks a groundbreaking development for both companies. SBI revealed that their new investment management company will largely handle digital assets with the major U.S. investment management company Franklin Templeton. The new company is planned to open within a year. The investment management company will have a 51% stake from SBI Holdings and 49% from Franklin. This means SBI Holdings will have the majority stake in the company. So Ripple investor SBI is going to have the controlling stake. The move comes as the United States saw massive demand for spot Bitcoin ETFs after the SEC approval. The SEC also approved spot Ethereum ETFs earlier this week, potentially lifting the ban on ETFs tracking spot prices for crypto. So just, in its infancy, this announcement right now, I guess we're still going to have to see how this plays out. Nevertheless, another great tweet here from Michael on Twitter. Also, guys, the Ripple stablecoin is coming down the pike. This is also going to bring more demand for XRP and the XRP ledger. Thinking Crypto, Tony Edward, he did recently post an interview with Marcus and Fandra from Ripple. Listen to this.
It will be, the idea is it's going to be launched later this year. It's going to be available on several exchanges. We hold several licenses that sort of like back, this institutional grade, really trusted, compliance first aspects to it. Recently acquired standard custody, and with that, a New York trust license. We have like 40, money transmitter license in the US. We have an MAS payment license, etc. And then so this Ripple stablecoin can be expected to be listed on several exchanges. Minting directly with Ripple will be available for like institutional grade enterprise customers. In the early stages as well.
Institutional grade customers, guys. This is big money moving. About 40 money transmitter licenses in the US as of now at the state level. A BIT license in NY in New York. There's a reason why Ripple was working on a stablecoin. Obviously, they realized that this is where the regulations are going at the moment. And so if a stablecoin is regulated, well then, that is like their foot in the door to eventually start using the cryptocurrency that they, initially wanted to use, XRP. And with the RLUSD demand, XRP will be needed in the back end, obviously running on the XRP ledger. So, this is all coming to a boiling point. Hopefully we do see, more demand come sooner rather than later. Well, dang, says Crypto Eddie here, brand new RippleNet payment partner, Clear Junction. So these guys are a Ripple partner, has similar confusion on how fast XRP can bridge and settle payments. This is Teresa Cameron from Clear Junction in an interview clip. Not really understanding the point. I don't know. You be the judge.
Whilst we know crypto assets have been sort of gaining ground since about 2010, they do offer an alternative to correspondent banking, because in principle, any functional currency, cryptocurrency, can act as a cross-border remittance vehicle. So, for example, in each jurisdiction, you can swap crypto to fiat. And then on the other leg, on the other side, you can also swap crypto to fiat. And you can do this in seconds. And you can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And because it's quite cheap, you're running on computer systems and ledgers. In theory, this can be comparable to the much lower cost of faster payments in local territories. I think the other thing to call out here is that this technology also allows greater security and traceability. Everything is captured on the ledger and fully traceable. So it could offer a way to combat some of this data security concerns, breaches, and also help traceability from fraud-related transactions. I think probably in the market you can think of an example here of RippleNet and their use of XRP to provide this type of solution. Having said that, though, what is a blocker to this mass adoption of digital ledger technology, in my opinion, is the fact that some of these crypto assets are so volatile and the price can change very rapidly. And so that makes it risky and not something that can be easily adopted by businesses, as an example. And this is where I think that stablecoins can come in, because the stablecoin is pegged to the domestic currency. The volatility is, much more reduced. And I think this is the way that we can then unlock the digital technology by using these stablecoins. And actually, if we look at the majors, UK, Europe, US, there's not much volatility in currency. But in some of the more remote areas where they're particularly impacted by volatility in their local currency, this could be a way for them to even be more secure if they're using US dollar, UK, European stablecoins.
So notice the focus is still on the stablecoin. However, she's talking about volatility here and doesn't really understand, still discussing talking points from what seems like 2017. As Crypto Eddie says, reminds me of when Mr. Garlinghouse tried to explain to the former CEO of Western Union, Hikmet Ersek, when he pushed back on the technology. It's unfortunate that people aren't really getting it. Fortunately, though, for us, there are some people in finance that are understanding, like Oliver Michel from the Frankfurt Stock Exchange in Germany. All that pressure has been built up over the years. And guys, he is predicting that XRP is going to blast off like we've never seen before. I'm going to translate this clip for you guys. Watch this. He says, I've been watching Ripple for many years. I said yes in 2017. I consciously got involved. And over the years, you develop feelings for a movement of a coin. And since I know that we have relatively large Ripple audience, I would like to briefly say something about the observations that I have noticed these days. Okay, so the first thing he says, I noticed that something that has actually been very rare so far, that is Ripple itself positioned itself as a company in a tweet and said, the ambition is to become the #1 digital infrastructure provider for financial services and to help professional companies integrate blockchain technology into their business. You have rarely read this in this form as a full-range provider, and you have been able to put the individual parts together, look for and put together a message like this. But when the time comes, Ripple and I had already said last week that I have feelings that something is brewing, and yes, then these messages also came up at this point, and again, the note, Ripple is a company that the customer is here about enterprise. Okay, so to paint a picture, there is a difference whether I sell a true economic system to a global company and introduce it, or whether I put a free app somewhere in the App Store to offer an output system to some customer. Ripple works enterprises, the enterprises, the corporate customers, and also the banks, also the central banks, okay? They are only slowly becoming aware that they have to do something about it, which means that Ripple with these customers is behind in the whole development, and that is completely clear. Therefore, very good positioning. So my first highlight. The second highlight, we have already spoken about several times here, is this WCH, which is the wedge. Sorry, let me just pause that, see if I can go back here. He says, which is this wedge, which is now coming to a head and then briefly goes back under it. Okay, coming to a head, briefly goes back under it, is now slowly moving upward. Some draw this wedge even further at 6S years, but here in 2021B, that's enough. Rarely seen such a big wedge. And we're in this peak here, okay? He's pointing to the chart. Moment at what I've noticed is that the XRP has such a life of its own in the last 2 years, become a bit disconnected. He says, I formulated them as a constant nervous twitching of price. So you can see that here it twitched, and then she twitched, which you rarely saw with the Ripple, which was like a carrier coin moving from left to right for years. And you can see very nicely in this area, in contrast to Ethereum, Bitcoin, we have a volume. So this volume here, he says it's getting larger towards the top in contrast to the other two cryptocurrencies. We know and have the stablecoin from Ripple as well, so that's coming up. She announced in shareholder buyback program as well last week. These are things where I go and I say something is happening, something seems to be brewing, and the first influence, and that's actually always a good sign, are now taking up XRP as a topic and see, man, something could happen. And this tease certainly has something to do with the fact that many these days are probably expecting the final verdict also from the Torah's ruling regarding, fine in July. And then, of course, in connection with the hope that the SEC will not challenge the entire verdict as a whole, there are no objections to what the probability is. And if that is the case, then I believe that the twitching of price is not just a slight twitching, but as always I described, a very big twitching. And all this pressure, guys, that is built up over the years has then discharged disproportionately, but Ripple can be classified differently in the entire world of cryptocurrencies, the remaining coins, and then the clip ends there, guys. So this constant twitching, a little bit of a twitch on the XRP chart. What Oliver Michel says is that eventually this will be a full-blown move to the upside. We're currently seeing the twitch right now moving away, or rather decoupling from Bitcoin price action. A very interesting phenomenon that we tend to see on XRP charts. I guess the question now is, how high will it rise? Can it rise on its own? Will these culminating events create a massive blast off for XRP? Anyway, that's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.